Hello everybody, this is Kirby over yonder, and as some of you may know, Rick and Morty recently got renewed for 7 more seasons. I'm gonna put it bluntly, as a big fan of the show, I think this is a dumb idea. Now, I see why Adult Swim chose to do this. Rick and Morty is at its peak in popularity, and Adult Swim never really had a very popular cartoon like Rick and Morty outside of debatably Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And I could understand if Adult Swim wanted to renew the show for like 2 or 3 more seasons. That's understandable. But 7? I mean, sure, Rick and Morty is popular now, but do you still think it would be this popular in like 2025 or 2030? And if Rick and Morty does become one of those cartoons that just goes on forever, which I hope it doesn't, then chances are it'll eventually get stale, or at least have a few bad episodes. Granted, science fiction does allow for some unique episode concepts, however, even some of the most creative shows of all time can get bland if they go on for too long. I mean, take a look at Fairly Odd Parents. When that show started out, it was one of the most creative and interesting shows on Nickelodeon, but by season 10, the show got so bland that they had to add new characters to make it interesting, and even that didn't work. So if Rick and Morty does continue to air for 7 more seasons, I think there are some changes that need to be made. First off, I think Rick and Morty needs a more solid tone. What I mean by this is that sometimes I have a hard time telling if I should take Rick and Morty seriously as a big overarching story, or as an episodic comedy. Honestly, the show is great at both, and I don't really mind either way, but it's really time for the show to choose. I mean, take a look at BoJack Horseman. That show is both one of the silliest and one of the most dramatic shows I've ever seen. BoJack knows when to be a goofy, silly cartoon, and when to be a dramatic, serious story. Rick and Morty is capable of doing this too, however a lot of times I wonder whether or not I should be taking this show seriously. Another aspect of the show that, in my opinion, really doesn't work in the show's favor is the fact that the characters don't age. I don't really mind this very much for a show like The Simpsons that is episodic and doesn't rely on continuity, however, Rick and Morty is clearly more than that. I mean, one of the most major character arcs in Season 3 was the fact that Morty is maturing and he's not just Rick's naive sidekick anymore, and I honestly thought that was really cool. However, it would have been even better if Morty was actually just a year or 2 older to show the audience that he's not the same character as he was in Season 1. I mean, just take a look at shows like Adventure Time and BoJack Horseman. Both of those shows feature characters maturing, and coincidentally enough, both of these shows have characters that actually age. Even if they don't physically change, just the fact that the characters have grown over time and that time has actually been passing in these worlds shows the audience that the characters are different from how they are in Season 1. Also, this is just kind of a minor thing, but it kind of bugs me. It gets really annoying when the characters will say, "Oh, this happened X amount of years ago," yet Morty is still 14 years old. I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. One last thing, they've gotta get rid of the Beth and Jerry plots. I don't utterly despise them like a lot of other people do, however, they are my least favorite parts of the show, and the lack of Beth and Jerry arguing is one of the reasons why Season 3 is my favorite season. Thankfully, the ending to Season 3 does imply that there will be less of Beth and Jerry arguing, however, a part of me is still a little worried. Look, as it stands, Rick and Morty is my 3rd favorite cartoon of all time. However, I don't know how long it can stay like that. And heck, this is coming from someone who not only liked Season 3, but thought it was the best season, so that's kinda saying a lot. Unlike most of the other cartoons I criticize, I don't criticize the show because I think it's garbage. I criticize the show because I don't want it to become garbage. I really do love the show, I just don't like this decision. I'm not gonna stop watching Rick and Morty, of course not, it's one of my favorite cartoons. However, if it doesn't make these changes soon, I can't say I'll still be watching the show when it's on its 10th season. What do you guys think about this decision? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Please let me know, I'm really interested. And have a pleasant week. I'll see you guys next time. Kirby, out.